Every time that you go, you know what I'm saying, when you on your grind, every day ain't gonna look the same. It's not. Some days gonna look better than others. Some days it's just building block days. But that's part of discipline. Always staying up in there. Always getting to it. And then another thing, that's gonna let you know if you really want that shit that you want, because what if you come here today, or wherever it is that you put inside your work, what if you go there, right, but you ain't got no instant gratification? What you gonna do, not go? You ain't gonna never have the gratification in, at all. You gotta remain relentless and disciplined. You gotta be able, discipline is doing shit when you don't feel like doing it. Doing shit anyway. Doing shit you know, because if I keep doing this shit, it's gonna get me this shit. Simple as that. What's good? It's GodNakir, Backstreet Conversations. I got some merch. Reach out to me, shoot me some DMs. I'll let y'all know what the prices is and the availability. I got sizes, all colors. Y'all gonna be seeing all that.
Desde constante. Sorry, te falta rango, nene.
Mucho caliente, puto, siéntete. I was born with the crime flow, mucho picante. Pull up to the club with the party pack on me. Girl, I got what you need, get it if you want it. Ain't nobody fucking with me, baby, let's be honest. Been picante for a while, I don't see me cooling off. Ball in the jets, not sleep in the
It's GodNakir. Welcome to Backstreet Conversations. Today I just want to give y'all the opportunity to kind of like peep out what I feel about everything what's going on right now, right? Y'all gotta stop worrying about other people so much. You really do, right? You need to ask yourself a question. Is that other person doing anything for you? Does that person have any control or dominion over like anything in your life right now? Does that can that person literally can just stop something that you got going on, whether it be money, whether it be happiness, whether it be anything, right? Like, y'all be so quick to give y'all opinion on shit, even if you knowledgeable about it and you can speak on it, but you don't know that particular situation. This is like that reminder to just like shut up. Let whoever talking. You know what I'm saying? Allow the context clues to come out, so that way you can really understand what the fuck they saying, or what they trying to say, or what they really want to say, but they just haven't got to it yet. When you single, and I had the same conversation with someone earlier today. When you single and you inside of a relationship, when you single and you're you know, obviously you single, right? You should be trying to figure out who the fuck you are. Everybody different. Sometimes it may take you years to figure out who you are. Sometimes you may have already, you know what I'm saying, been living your life and you was brought up to kind of be conscious of who you are in this world and everything around you. So you kind of don't really need to be single for so long. But that was you dealing with yourself. Now you're going to be dealing with other people, right? And ain't nobody gonna come out and just tell you about all their business, all their trauma, you know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna tell you all that shit up off top. That shit take time. You wanna allow certain situations to happen so that way you know, this person can prove themselves to you, you know, in multiple scenarios and not just one, or make you feel good today or tomorrow or for the moment. It takes time to get to know somebody. And today we live in a world of like instant gratification, which is not a good thing, right? Because instant gratification is only temporary. It's temporary. It doesn't allow for you to plan, structure, appreciate. It's right now. And I'll just use this as an analogy, right? Instant oatmeal, instant rice. Yeah, you can eat right now, but how will it affect you in the long run? Is it sustainable? Is it truly worth it? Because, like, again, I was explaining this conversation to someone earlier. Well, fuck it, I'll tell you. I was talking to my daughter, and I was talking to her about relationships. She's 15 now. She'll be 16 next year. I was talking to her about relationships, and I was talking to her about how, you know, I said, you know, when I used to make y'all food, or when I make y'all food, right, like, I tell y'all, like, I'm not just putting it inside of the oven just because. Like, I'm putting it inside the oven because, for one, I know that I ain't gonna get too much on the health tip, but whenever you cooking something, you're taking nutrients away from something, right? And that's just putting heat to food. But if I put it in the microwave, not only am I doing that, but I'm adding radiation to it. That ain't nothing about that neutral at all, or nutrient, right? It ain't replenishing shit. I put it in the oven because it's gonna, for one, not have radiation in it. But two, it's gonna teach you patience. It's gonna teach you how to wait for something. It's taking away instant gratification and giving you delayed gratification. Now, when you hear delayed, that sounds negative. That's only if your mindset is set up to believe that. You gotta change your mindset and say, man, when something takes its time to get to me or for me, then I know that it's right. I know that it wasn't rushed. I know that this shit came with care. I understand that it's gonna last longer. I understand that I'm going to appreciate it. See, you can think of it the same way as investing inside real estate property, right? It ain't no instant profit. It ain't no instant gratification. That's why everybody can't survive in business, because it's hard in the beginning. Yeah, you don't really see that thing do what it's supposed to do until later on. Delayed gratification. Your asset appreciates over time. Same thing with like relationships and dealing with people, and then really just dealing with yourself too, right? The longer you wait on it, the better it is. The more return on your time invested increases. It gains value. And I was explaining to her about relationships. I was just like, about being single, right? And merging into a relationship. She was like, I don't think I'm gonna ever get married. Okay, that's cool. What that does is that allows you to know who you are, because we always changing. We're always evolving, some of us. But if I had to guess about my daughter gonna be like me. She gonna evolve. You know? She got that part of me inside of her. And what I wish I had growing up was somebody teaching me how to check a motherfucker right off the rip if I don't agree with something. You know, exercising that throat chakra. talking my shit when I know I need to really talk my shit and just instead of being quiet. Now, yeah, that's a time and place for everything. Sometimes you don't need to speak. Sometimes you need to listen. But when you know it's time to speak and you don't speak due to shyness or whatever, like, nah, hell no. We gotta change that. Because people gonna run over you if you let them. People are gonna only respect you as much as you respect your goddamn self. And I mean that for real. Like, you don't have to be harsh. You don't have to be super masculine. You understand what I'm saying? You can do it with soft power. Dudes, we got soft power too. You know, I was saying this earlier to somebody. It ain't about what you say. You know what I'm saying? It's all about how you say it. But more importantly, it's about that tone that you use. See, I can yell at some kids and tell them to do this and do that. And guess what? They're going to do it because I'm yelling. Now, I can tell them to do the same thing inside of another tone of voice, and they'll still do it. Now, you know that comes with respect. But at the same time, you got to show them that even if I'm talking to you in this calm voice, what I'm saying needs to happen. It's still heavy just as if I was yelling. Just know that if I'm yelling that, I'm on the brink of getting physical or losing it. But if I'm calm, now I can decide if I'm gonna lose it or not. But at the same time, that allows me to really flex my soft power, right? Because if you don't do what I say when I'm asking you in a nice, calm voice, then I'm obligated to say, okay, well, I know what the repercussions should be if you don't follow through with my order of my instruction, right? And I gotta stand up on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't, now my soft voice loses its power. You understand what I'm saying? So I was explaining to her, like, baby, that's great. Take your time. Learn who you are. You're going to be changing too. So just because you fall in love with somebody when you're 20 something, right? They may not like you when you start changing and you get inside your 30s. Now you sitting here finding yourself stuck inside of a situationship and you want to mask it and call it love. No. Now, yeah, you should know whether or not, you know, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can say, hey, look, no matter if I go through hell, I'm willing to go through hell and high water for you or with you. But at the same time, we all got our list of things that they non-negotiables. You know what I'm saying? Like, hell no, I'm not fucking with this, or that, and that's that. I'm sorry, and I'm willing to leave you behind that. You gotta, like I told you gotta drop your nuts on the table. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, you did? Let your ovaries hang on the outside for once. You know what I'm saying? Like, let it be known. Again, that's the same thing like a man, right? Y'all want a man to be honest with y'all and tell y'all what it is, or what he want, or this, that, and the other. Yeah, you can kind of be cool about it and be smooth and suave about the shit, but sometimes, though, you need to let somebody know right up front, hey, this is me, this is what it is, you cool with that, let me know. If you're not, then I understand. So just as much as women say that they respect that, you gotta give that kind of energy all the time, on everything. You know what I'm saying? Again, it ain't about what you say, it's how it comes across. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you do have to know your audience. Yeah, you gotta know who you talking to too. All that is facts. I ain't negating that. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, learn to speak up. Use your voice. Stop worrying about if I say this, they gonna look at me different. If that's the case, you don't need to be around them, no way. At all. Life is real short, man. Real short. If you think about it, you spend most of it sleep. Look, I'm gonna give y'all a life hack, right? And we should have been taught this from a very, very early age. We need to keep shit extremely as simple as possible. Shit can get technical whenever we decide what it is that we're going to do or we want to be a part of. Then let it get technical. You know what I'm saying? But you got to know what it is that you want to do. That shit might take you some time. But your parents can help you figure that out if they just be attentive to your natural talents and abilities and habits. Right? And or give you the world at exposure. So that way you can say, oh, I naturally gravitate towards this. All right, cool. Then that's what I'm expose you to. You understand what I'm saying? Figuring out what it is that you want to do and do that shit. Nothing else. Now I admit, there was a point in my life where I was doing that, right? But life is life. I started figuring some shit out. But then I started noticing, like, there's a science to figuring out what you should be doing. Like, before you do something, this may sound cliche, y'all might have heard this a million of times, right? But you need to make sure that whatever that is that you're choosing to do, that fits you and your personality and your lifestyle, your mindset, your everything. Then you need to weigh the options. What things will I have to sacrifice in order to have this thing that I want? Be honest with yourself. Even include somebody else if you need to, so that way it's not about having outside influence, but it's about somebody else knowing who you are and saying all these other things. Now, take this with a grain of salt. Now, I ain't telling you to hang on to everything they saying. First, I'll get somebody that you truly, truly trust. But then at the same time, the ultimate decision is always on you. That's who it always falls on, right? But you need to ask yourself, are these things that I'm willing to sacrifice, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And one thing you're going to have to always understand that you're going to have to work on is your discipline. If you fuck up and you fall off, don't trip, don't beat yourself up about it, get right back on. Just like when you fell off the bike, you got back up on it. If you ride a horse, you fell off a horse, hopefully you got back on it if you're still riding horses. You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't quit. Anything is possible. We can do anything. We just gotta ask ourselves, is this what we want to do? I'm not saying is something wrong with going out there and trying a bunch of shit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But before you tie in your time, your money, ask yourself those couple of things. Is this shit really worth it? Does this fit my personality, my attributes? Am I willing to sacrifice the things that I figured out that I'm going to have to sacrifice in order to obtain this thing? You have to ask yourself those questions because, like I said, you spend probably a third of your life sleep maybe, right? Don't waste your time. Then the other third is probably split in half between work and getting old, right? And if you take care of yourself the right way, you know what I'm saying, with nutrition and exercise, right? You should be able to still be mobile in your older years. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're not going to have the same energy levels probably. You feel what I'm saying? You probably ain't going to feel like doing this or doing that, but all that depends on the individual, right? But then the last third, right? That's split up again with work and life. But then you got this smaller window was like, man, I got this energy. You ever heard somebody say, man, I got this energy to kind of move around and do it. I gotta make some shit happen because now I have the energy. I probably ain't gonna always have this. You have energy and you have resources. You know what I'm saying? You got them two things working for you. So you really gotta maximize your time. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not always about getting up and moving. You gotta be precise. You gotta be productive. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta be there Not just to say, hey, look, all right, hey, I'm in the studio today just because I'm in the studio. All right, well, what you did inside the studio? All you did was put yourself inside the atmosphere. That was step one. So you ain't gonna do step two? Or you ain't gonna plan and say, hey, look, before I get to the studio, this is what I'm gonna work on today. And then step up in there and work on it. Every time that you go, you know what I'm saying, when you on your grind, every day ain't gonna look the same. It's not. Some days gonna look better than others. Some days it's just building block days. But that's part of discipline. Always staying up in there. Always getting to it. And then another thing, that's gonna let you know if you really want that shit that you want, because what if you come here today, or whatever it is that you put inside your work, what if you go there, right, but you ain't got no instant gratification? What you gonna do, not go? You ain't gonna never have the gratification in, at all. You gotta remain relentless and disciplined. You gotta be able, discipline is doing shit when you don't feel like doing it. Doing shit anyway. Doing shit you know, because if I keep doing this shit, it's gonna get me this shit. Simple as that.